Welcome back, everybody, to The Breachers, VRML on VRML Network. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, joined today by the early birthday boy, Shimmy Marui is here with us. How are you doing today, Shimmy?
Really? We went over this. Oh my God. I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready. I've been waiting to see this match all week. Let's get into this. Come on. I need to see this.
Yeah, it's been a highly anticipated one. You can go on the Breachers VRML website and actually vote on which games you'd like to see. And this one particularly, between Ling and Aspect, well, it had 34 votes. And actually, the votes are heavily skewed towards Ling here. 58 voting for Ling, 20 for Aspect. But these are two teams with some history in Breachers VRML. Ling existed season 1, I believe, was kind of their prime. They did dabble in part of season 2, but eventually disbanded, and now they're back and better than ever. And then we've also had Aspect, which made an appearance closer towards the end of season 3, actually battled it out with Valor, and lost that third place spot in the season 3 postseason. So they've gone through a couple of roster changes, but they're back this season, and they're looking to start off with a win against Ling. So I'm going to be excited to see where we're going to go for this first map. We do have information that at least Factory is banned, Shimmy, and I'm glad. I want to see Maul, and I have a feeling we probably won't see Maul, but at least we're not gonna see Factory, which we see kind of all the time.
Well, I do have some bad news for you. It sounds like Maul is also getting banned.
No! Okay, we're going to start on Arctic. So we've at least got that going for us. Now, Shimmy, you were on the prestigious Restart team. What are your thoughts on Arctic here? You like the map?
So I like the original Arctic. I do like the rework, yes. They just feel like two completely different maps.
Right.
At least to me. But there's a lot of dynamic plays you can do on this new version of Arctic. I'm really excited to see these specific teams because I've played with a lot of these pros that are on both teams. They know a lot of different ways that you can play Arctic. We really heavily experimented back in Season 2 and Season 3 with the map. So I want to see if I get to see some old plays on there. I also just want to see, well, some of my old teammates play.
Yeah, it should be a little fun experience here. And actually, yeah, that is the information. They did ban Maul and Factory. So we're not going to see Maul this time, but what we will potentially see, Shimmy, is Overtime, which has just been added in Season 4 for the first time. We actually saw Overtime a little bit in the Season 3 postseason, but it is now here in the regular season, which means that every single game we have, we are going to have a winner. No more ties, which I can't be more excited to no longer have. But it looks like we're going to go and get ready here in just a moment. Quick shout out to everybody in the chat who's joined us. Got Jimmy is Aura, Scoober, Baguette. Love to see the support. Crazen. Funnily enough, Shimmy, I was actually doing a control point before this stream, and in that control point lobby was Dusty from Aspect and Parrot from Ling. So it's kind of like watching how these two teams would battle it out early on in control point. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started in our very first map, which is going to be Arctic. As Shimmy pointed out, in Season 3, Arctic was revamped, and it plays quite differently. So many changes happened in that season. Now, we're going to see how these players handle it in Season 4. As we see Ling on the offense and Aspect on the defense.
It looks like we got that draw of the bottom site. Looks like we probably are going to see an entryway over by the B staircase. Good old default play, easy entry, a little bit of a funnel, but that seems to be everybody's favorite attack spot. Looks like we've got a heavy leaning defense on that side as well.
And the EMP has actually been dropped. Looks like they are going to have somebody pick that up at some point. But we've got Peak, Muffin, Relay, and Zen as Jimmy pointed out, all setting up that funnel, that push on to site B. And Tubby from Aspect playing out side of sight, and they managed to narrowly avoid getting caught by a fragmentation grenade. But 2 minutes 10 on the clock, and Ling is already in the building.
Yeah, you saw them trying to hold that aggro defense, but of course that util just displacing them out. Good clearance on the upstairs, just making sure no flank can get them. As Parrot looks like he gets the wall ready with foam. Shots going out from both sides, trying to catch some wall picks. Nothing just yet.
There it is, opened up, and Incendiary's util being dumped as Pillow will open up with a kill onto Relay and a double onto Parrot. Mufin will find Tubby as Ling looking to respond, but that EMP going down is going to make things a little bit more challenging. Shout out to Pillow, actually, one of our VRML casters. Love to support the casting team here, and well, it's a nice opening. A lot of people think that these casters can't play, but we can. We almost won the casters versus mods game, but not quite. Zen going down to Maestro as Peak picks up the kill onto Pillow. That EMP not planted yet, but it is a 2 versus 3.
Oh, Peak finding a second one with that Taurus shot. Looks like he's going to try and get that plant. Doesn't quite get it. Mufin just making sure that he can't get pushed up on. Those two defenders trying to find an angle, trying to find one shot that they can get to take Peak off. Nothing just yet. More util dumps out. Incendiary comes in. And we are in a stalemate.
Stalemate indeed. As Solo playing center B, catches Peak and the double onto Mufin, and actually Solo and Pillow both dropping 2 kills that round. Very, very impressive start for Aspect. Again, the votes here, Shimmy, heavily skewed in favor of Ling. It was about 50 votes, almost 60 votes for Ling, and around 20 for Aspect. But successful defense here for Aspect to start.
Oh, yeah, no, they held off very well. I mean, they had a couple star players. Pillow pulling off those 2 first opening picks really helped slow down that aggression that Ling was going to count on in order to get that plant down. And then Maestro and Solo just not over-peaking, making sure that they're staying in good cover and finding optimal picks as opposed to trying to over-aggro and kind of just bum rush the attackers as they were trying to find their place. It really well-played defense out of Aspect right there.
You can tell that they've been practicing scrimming in the off season and are looking to bring in the defense here against a ultimately impressive Ling team as well. I think we're going to see probably all 3 maps in this series because these teams are, I would argue, on the same skill level. Faded. Almost getting caught by Zen, and does get caught by Zen. Good choice to pursue the kill. Ling have entered the building. They've taken out that early roamer, and that's going to sway the early momentum in their favor.
Ooh, we see Tubby getting a little bit of damage put onto him. Seeing that Viper in play by Zen is going to really help Ling in this situation. Those 3 omens are going to be a lot to deal with, and having a submachine gun of their own when they push in on that attack to go for the plant, that's necessary right there.
And everybody on Ling is looking to enter, and Tubby picking up a little bit more damage, but 1.5 minutes now on the clock. As, well, surprisingly, Ling on this second round have elected to only purchase 1 SMG. Parrot finding the kill onto Solo. And Tubby is going to look for the Taurus, but look at the movement here from Parrot. You can tell they are locked in as they manage to get that omen kill. Zen pushes in along with Mufin. They're going to find Pillow, going to push up. Relay tries to catch a refrag, but Maestro found Zen, and they're alone over in Laundry. The EMP has, in fact, been planted. It's going to be difficult for Aspect to get control of this round.
Maestro's in a really bad position right here. He's got 3 people near full health, and he goes down. If it wasn't going to be him, it was going to that person working his flank. Ooh, nasty, nasty little 1v4.
Yeah, we just saw a lot of early momentum there from Ling. They took out the roamer, then they pushed in, and they got control over the side, and, well, the rest of that aspect defense just crumbled behind it. But, well, now it's time for some rifles to make their appearance, Shimmy, and as that captain of that prestigious restart team, I gotta ask, you know, what are your thoughts about investing in SMGs and then rifles? Would you eco like Ling did, or would you buy into those rifles or those SMGs and then the rifles?
Well, so as some of you that have been around this, the seasons have been or have seen, there was an eco rework that did happen between or about. Was it midway through it at the end of season 3 where prices got raised on Vezins? You saw a lot of different changes. Some SMGs got dropped in price. Some rifles got increased in price. SMGs are a lot more viable now just because of the money you can save. That being said, I personally found that I would still always opt for a pistol just to make sure that I'm having that rifle round 3. Sometimes you can hero buy a little bit with an Omen or a Viper and still make it work for a Vezin on your 3rd round, but I usually tried to play it safe.
There you have it. There's the wise words of wisdom from your co-caster, Shimmy Marui. And here's Peak pushing into green along with Relay and Zen over on the other end of the red hallway. And it is going to be that side B push. Ling looking to build up some early momentum here. It's currently tied. Both teams have had an impressive round, but now's the real test as rifles start to make their way into the hands of these players. Pillow spotted by the drone, tossing the frag as it does bounce into a suboptimal location. Relay catching the kill onto Pillow. Good start for Aspect. They're going to look to get that EMP planted. Relay trying to get the EMP down. Solo finding Parrot.
Relay just narrowly missing that incendiary. He is in a lucky little spot. Maestro's trying to creep up on him right now. Relay swings, does not find Maestro. Maestro takes him down. And we got Mufin sitting here just trying to hold off the plant, but Maestro still wins that gunfight. It is down to Peak and Zen versus 4 Aspect players up. All hurt, but 3 rifles in play. This is not going to be easy.
Oh my goodness, it's a slaughter fest as Solo took out one of their own teammates with friendly fire. But the round does manage to go into the hands of Aspect. Very, very good retake from them. I have to say, it was impressive. It looked like Ling might have locked them out there, but it was good gun skill from Aspect.
Yeah, I think that Ling got a little bit too aggressive with their post plant. They tried to do a couple hero swings. You saw Relay try and take Maestro and just ended up peeking into 2 or 3 people. If they wouldn't have done that, maybe they could have shored the plant and just waited out the time. But it just ended up not working out for them when they tried to get those extra picks.
Yeah, aggression is something that you have to watch out for. Players, if they have got those higher egos, they may decide to try and play an angle like Relay. And sometimes it works out, but sometimes it also doesn't. So you really have to have that spatial awareness and consider the angle that you're swinging in. You know, is it likely that multiple people are going to be there? In the case of Relay, we just saw them swing into too many Vezins for them to handle. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get into round 4. There's a drone moving into this Arctic facility. Ling, well, last time they pushed here, Shimmy, didn't work out too well for them, but maybe history will not repeat itself.
Well, it looks like this time they invested a lot more into rifles, so we see 2 Vezins, a Marui, and a Viper out in play. I think they're going to have a lot easier of a time, especially having that Marui to play that range. When you open up that wall, it can get pretty long range pretty quick. But we do see them getting ready to open that wall. The foam is out, and we are about to see an entry. Instant holding them off of the doorway, though.
Minute 45 on the clock. Foam is up. The breach imminent as Ling going to try and push in, get that EMP planted. We do have plenty of utility from both teams, and here comes the util dump as smokes, incendiaries are tossed. Zen looking to scramble to get that EMP planted as Movement and Parrot both find a kill. Faded catching one in the incendiary, and the EMP has not been finished yet. 3 versus 4 as Parrot and Peak getting ready to try and get that EMP planted, but now we're seeing the push in.
It looks like they're finally able to get that EMP down. Defense not able to find anything just quite yet, as Maestro picks up Parrot with Movement and catching Maestro in return. Solo trying to get a little bit more ground, but Peak finds Faded and leaves Solo just solo. And that is it. Movement grabs him. That is round win for Ling.
Oh, wow, Shimmy. It is back and forth here as we're again tied. Nobody has really pulled ahead in this matchup yet. We've seen Aspects have some solid defense at some points, and we've seen Ling have great offense. Now that more rifles are in their hand, and we see a little bit of an eco discrepancy between Ling and Aspect, I wonder if maybe Ling are now going to try and snowball some rounds.
I think they're in a good position to. You see that weapons board right there. We got 4 Vezins and 1 Marui. That's all guns with 1 tap headshot potential. I mean, the Vezin not so much since it was nerfed and the range is severely limited. However, it is still one heck of a gun in the right person's hand. But this is why I wanted to see this match. It's 2 teams made of people with extremely good gun skill. Like, we're getting exactly what we bargained for on this one.
That we are, and Aspects certainly have their work cut out for them, but looks like they are investing into plenty of utility as well. They've got confidence here. They know that they have potential to win against Ling. The connoisseurs might be sweating a little bit here, as I'm sure this is closer than a lot of people thought it would be, but it's been exciting so far, and we're only in the first map. We could potentially go to 3 maps here. Wouldn't it be cool if we had overtime? This would be my first overtime of the season, and that would make me so very happy. But less than 2 minutes on the clock as Ling are already pushing in, and Relay picks up a lot of damage through the wall.
We see this defense holding off from Aspect, just keeping inside, keeping a mind on that vent that's in kitchen. A lot of people can sneak through there and really, really screw up an A site. So we see Aspect just keeping them right in the default areas, not quite able to find a wall, not quite able to find an entryway, not quite able to find a pick. They're really playing this defense well. I'm wondering when we're going to finally see Ling get into the building, because they are really starting to run out of time.
They've certainly waited a while for this push to develop. Peak finding the kill onto Pillow as incendiaries are tossed. Tubby catches quite a bit of damage in the fire as Solo goes down to Zen. And it's just down to Tubby and Maestro here. We see Maestro on the flank, but they give up their location just a little bit too early. Parrot will go down, but it is a 4 versus 2. Peak catches Maestro, and Relay catches Tubby to give Ling the lead. And here's the important thing, Shimmy. They kept 4 people alive, so Parrot, they can buy that rifle, and they're still going to have a decent chunk of change.
Yeah, they're on that runaway eco right now. There is not a lot that Aspect's going to be able to do. You can see the 4 spies of 3 orals coming out because they got to make something happen. It's good to see the oral actually in some sort of valid state, because season 1 through 3, you really didn't see it that much. It just didn't have a purpose with other guns in play. This new eco makes it a viable purchase. I do have to correct myself, though. Of course, the moment I said they need to get in the building was the only time I was looking at the one person not in the building.
Yeah, I love to see the use of some guns that were once considered off meta finally have a place in the competitive scene. Yeah, the RL is a solid option to pick now. It does some decent damage, and its price was also lowered, so it's now more affordable than it used to be. And ultimately, it can compete with some of these rifles like the Vezin. You just might need a little bit more finesse than that Vezin player, but For now, we see Ling upstairs. At least Zen, Parrot, and Peak. They may try a hatch play here, and we'll channel our inner Martini. And they typically require a lot of execution, a lot of good execution to work properly. We'll see if Ling can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, we see those 3 people ready on that hatch. It looks like they're going to do a feint onto the B site and then just storm the hatch onto A. That's where we're going to see that plant go out most likely.
Solo on the stairs catches one as here comes the hatch drop. Over on the other side, Peak, Parrot, and Zen all in. As Parrot will catch Maestro with that smoke. 1.5 minutes on the clock. Pillow makes her way in. Zen's going to catch that kill. And it is now a 3 versus 4. Zen trying to reposition, but Faded walks out with the kill. Solo has that hatch supremacy. We do see Relay closing the distance, but Peak will find one. They're going to get caught. Solo drops the hatch as Peak actually blows themselves up with their own frag. EMP is tapped. Relay with hatch supremacy now. Solo and Faded in a tough spot here. EMP looking to get defused, but here comes the drop. Parrot goes down, and now it's a 1v1 between Faded and Relay is going to catch Faded and Shimmy. Even if that gunfight worked in favor of Faded, I don't know if they would have had enough time to defuse that EMP.
No, based off the pacing that the beeping was having, there was no time. Even if Aspect had won that gunfight, it was over just due to time. Excellent feint though by Ling, being able to just pull all of Aspect over onto B site, instant off that connector, and just swamp A. Whew, what a nice execution.
Yeah, they worked it out very, very well. And we do see shout out to Martini. Martini often says that those plays do not work. But that 1% of the time when they do, it can absolutely throw your opponent off, as is the case with what Ling just did. And of course, Peak would rather take themselves out with their own grenade than die to the opposing team. But we're on a new half, Shimmy. Aspect now on the offense. Arctic. Ling on the defense. And, well, would you say that this map is offense or defense sided? Who are you more confident in right now?
So, a lot of people still think that Arctic is defense sided. I actually would argue it's almost dead even. Because each site plays so differently, it's kind of hard for me to say overall how the map plays out. This site I'd say is a little bit more offense-sided, this specific top floor. But we do see Pillow having gotten taken out as Aspect tries to gain some ground. It looks like they're going to rotate a little bit towards A. Solo does get hit through the wall. They now know which side they're leaning.
Bit of a cheeky play there from Peak as they pick off Pillow very early in the round. And that might be a little bit demoralizing for this Aspect team because they started off, it was looking fairly close, but we're watching as Ling now build up that lead that they were expected to build. The walls open, 1:20 on the clock as Parrot is going to find the kill on Maestro. That got very, very close quarters. They're caught by Faded. Rocking a hard place as Relay will find one. Faded dropping that EMP. We're not seeing a whole lot of coordination here offensively from Aspect, and Ling are going to make it 5-2.
Yeah, you did see that early pick happen, and I think that just kind of threw their entire offense into a sort of frenzy. They didn't quite know what to do. They lost some of their ground that they were going to have covered by that 5th person, especially getting detected early with that wall bang outside of A site. Ling was just able to rotate around and just completely segment out Aspect and just clean up the bodies. A really unfortunate round for Aspect. Let's see if they can turn this around, though, in round 8.
It's a new half, new eco, funneling into their pockets. Aspects do need to start worrying about putting some points on the board here, though. They are running out of opportunities. If Ling gets a win here, they're going to be on match point. And then Aspect's only hope of turning this map around is to go into overtime. Hopefully we do see that happen. That would be really awesome. I've been waiting for that, but it remains to be seen. As we start off with round number 8, walls opening up. Relay and Tubby might get into a bit of an engagement here, but so far, I do like to see some good drone work coming in from Aspect. They're being cautious, not letting Ling get some cheap util picks on them.
No, so far they're playing pretty dang reserved. Faded did take, again, a lot of that damage at the beginning, but still up. As long as you have that gun up, you're still fine. You do see a lot of hero buys coming out from a team that just lost, though, with nothing really, nothing above pistols coming out from Ling. I think they're just confident they're going to win this one.
Confidence indeed, as Relay will find Faded, and it's working out in their favor already. Maestro catches a lot of damage from a very well-placed instant. We might see Tubby and Muffin get into a fight here. No, Tubby actually backing off, and I'm waiting for Muffin to just throw around the corner here and tear into this. Pillow might get picked here. Maestro looks to defend, but Muffin catching 2 very well-placed shots, and it's up to Solo over in red as they're now being hunted down by Ling. And unfortunately for Aspect, they were not able to find a single player. Well, now they were. Solo catches Muffin, looking to at least work down the board a little bit, but they're in a tough spot. Parrot goes down. Solo finds their second. 50 seconds now on the clock. Solo realized that they don't have a whole lot to lose here, but they're being pushed from multiple angles here. Solo's an experienced veteran that came out of retirement this season, and you can see that they do still have that game sense from that old Aspect team, and Peak will find the kill onto Solo to make it match points for Ling.
Man, right now Aspect is just trying to find, like, really struggling to find their footing to get into a position to actually attack. Every time they try and set up, they just experience some gunfire, whether it be coming from walls, cheeky lurk, somebody holding an aggressive offsite defense, and it's just not working out for them. Something is getting in their way and stopping their attack, and they just end up stalling out. I'm really hoping that they can pull back and kind of rework their approach strategy, be able to actually get onto this site and get a good plant in. Well, we will see. Right now their backs are against the wall, with it being match point in favor of Ling.
I'm concerned here for Aspect. It seems like they've been losing a bit of that steam that they had, and you don't want to burn out. You don't want to burn out right now. We're still only in the first map. Perhaps if it does end here, maybe a timeout will be necessary to kind of reset and strategize a little bit. Tubby picking up some damage from Faded early in the round, and we're seeing just these small mistakes pile up. Peak finding the kill on Faded as Aspect lose 1-2 early in the round here. And it's now up to Solo, Maestro, and Pillow to keep their team in this first map. Parrot finds Pillow, getting aggressive. 2 kills in the hands of Parrot. Can they make it a triple? It's just down to Solo once again. Zen's going to push up the stairs. Good pre-fire from Solo. They're at least able to go down fighting. But they're going up against a number of powerful rifle players. Toss the frag downstairs. Parrot getting their health back up. But if you're Solo here, just not a whole lot of options. Relay and Parrot are just waiting for somebody to grapple for that grapple audio cue. They may find Solo here, but just a minute and a half on the clock. This could be curtains for Aspect on this first map.
Yeah, this situation is pretty near unwinnable. Solo's just got an oral, while we've got Vezins and Maruis across. Well, actually, no, we got one oral over in the hands of Peak, but he is right next to 3 other people with guns, all full health, and Solo is half. This is just not looking good.
Oh, they're
We do
sneaking
trying to make that
close.
entry, though.
Uh-oh. Oh, right into the crosshair.
Oh.
Poor Solo. But what a impact that Ling has made as they're going to take their first map here in this series. Gotta say, they impressed me, Shimmy. They had a good offense. They had a good defense. It took them a little bit. First couple rounds were probably closer than they'd like them to be, but in the end, the Ling's walking away with a 7-2, a very respectable score here.
Yeah, no, Ling is looking fantastic today. I mean, it's good to see people like Parrot, Beak, they still got it. They still can just absolutely out-mechanic anybody. I mean, good Lord, some of the play spacing that I saw out of that.
Yeah,
Jesus.
very, very mechanically advanced over on Ling. And again, there were moments of promise from Aspect here, but just not quite enough to keep them alive in this series. And it looks like we might actually just hop right into the next map, Shimmy. But so we've played on Arctic. We've seen that Factory is banned and Mall is banned. What's your bet?
I'm thinking we're either going to see Hideout or Skyscraper. I think Aspect is going to want to, if it's their choice, they're going to want to go to something that's basic, simple, something that's been played over and over again by them. But of course, at the same time, Ling loves Skyscraper. I know that Muffin really enjoys Skyscraper. So I'm leaning probably first Sky, second Hide.
Could be. It looks like the teams are sorting it out right now. And as we wait, we're just starting in a few minutes. But as we wait, we do want to thank the sponsors of the Breachers VRML network, Triangle Factory, the developers of the game that have done a lot for us over here at the VRML, including contributing to the prize pool and then several in-game gun skins and in-game banners. There's a lot that Triangle Factory has done for us, and we appreciate their continued support of the league. And of course, HyperX, I got this nifty HyperX headset. My favorite part of it is that I can turn my head both ways and I don't even have to worry about the cord getting stuck on something. But for now, that is going to do it. Thank you to our sponsors. Make sure you go and check out Triangle Factory and HyperX. But Shimmy, we are getting right into our next map, and well, you called it. I think you might have a little foresight because it's going to be Hideout. And Hideout's one of the oldest maps in Breachers, released alongside Skyscraper and Factory on the release of the game. So Shimmy here's got plenty of experience on Hideouts. And is this where you would want to be if you're Aspect?
If I'm Aspect, probably. This is the most played map in all of Breachers, like bar none. Everybody's played it. If you queue up for rank, if Hideout's on the board, it's getting picked. Every single player in VRML knows this map like the back of their hand. Everybody knows every default play. Like right now, you see them executing that garage play, that garage take, and Zen immediately finding Maestro with a frag. You see good cross angles on Aspect, trying to find an entryway in and get that refrag.
What better way for Ling to open up this map than with an S-tier frag? Absolute brutality there, but 2 minutes on the clock as Aspect have established a presence into garage. They do have some breaching foam, so they might be able to set up a push here, but it doesn't bode well with that early pick.
No, but it looks like they're going to go try and get a little bit of control of laundry. Oh, not quite. It looks like... Oh, no, there we go. We do have the person sitting up in garage, or in laundry now. However, we see so much util coming out, and smoke's just blocking off the sight lines for the attackers. They're not able to find a pick yet. Dusty getting charged, but does take Parrot out. It's now an even 4v4. Ensigns all over the place. Blocked entries. And we see defenders just keeping their ground while Aspect just can't find their way into sight.
Dusty catching Zen as baited. Faded and Dusty go down to Muffin. It's up to Solo and Pillow here in a 2 versus 3. Pillow finding one. Faded is caught by Peak, and it's up to Pillow, and they get Rely low. But Peak pushes out, keeps their team alive here, and it's a good opening round for Ling Shimian. I'm just playing it back on the screen right now. There's that beautiful S-tier frag. I mean, a perfect lineup from Zen there. It's just, I wonder at this point, maybe we're seeing Aspect a little bit demoralized here. The first map didn't go too well, and they lost the first round of this one, too.
I mean, they kept it close all round. Like, the numbers stayed pretty dang even. It just, they stalled out, and that just always plays better for defense. But I think that they're probably going to get their mental back. I mean, knowing a lot of these dudes, they can correct themselves. But we'll see on this ground floor. It's a little bit of a risky site to be in an eco disadvantage. However, it looks like that's not going to come quite into play with Ling just sticking to pistols, save for one Omen.
Nobody wants to walk out of week 1 with that loss for your first game. So both teams desperately trying to claw their way to success. No, not again! Oh my goodness, Parrot almost catching Pillow with that fragmentation grenade, but I wonder if maybe Parrot is going to get surrounded here. We didn't actually see Aspect push in until it was too late. Parrot's already escaped and can live to fight another day, maybe cause some more pain for this Aspect offense. Solos made their way down the big stairs, and they may actually run into Peak. They do run into Peak, and will find that kill. But 5 versus 4, Ling lose an early player, and it's starting to look a little bit better for Aspect.
Ooh, Parrot tries to get that pick onto the one opening up hatch. Doesn't quite find it. Box gets in the way. Looks like he's retreated back. They're both in a stalemate, just trying to figure that out. Oh my goodness, we've got some Looney Tunes timing right here. A Solo does find Parrot. It is all up to the people down on site. That's all lurks down. It looks like this might be going the way of Aspect finally.
Could be, but it might be a little bit dangerous for Aspect here, as they've taken a lot of time waiting to push in. Now, we did see Ling didn't invest too heavily into this round. Rely finds the kill onto Solos. Maestro looks to push in. Muffin catches a lot of damage. Zen holding down the fort as Pillow and Faded pushing in with each other to get that EMP planted. Pillow's going to find the kill on Muffin. Rely catching Dusty. Faded finding the incendiary kill. You see a lot more of those nowadays, and it's up to Zen in that 1 versus 3 scenario.
Oh, this is not looking good for Sen, as he was forced onto the incendiary and dies to Pillow. 1v3, not where you want to be kept when all you've got is an Omen. But we do see Aspect take their first round on the map.
All right, well, we were talking a little bit about mental, and that's got to be helping it out here. Yeah, early offensive round 1 by Aspect is going to give them that economy boost that they might need to buy some more of that utility. Ling can invest here, but we're not really seeing a ton of rifles. Actually, Aspect picking up 2, and Ling only with 1. But there are some SMGs on both sides, so it is a little bit equalized.
Yeah, that eco change really coming into play now. Just each team having lost 1 round, especially with the heavy investment for Aspect from last round. Nobody's got money to buy anything right now. So like you said, we see RCPs, we see Omens, we see Vipers. We got a whole assortment of weapons on the playing field right now.
Into what is most likely going to be that classic A push, although the setup here from Aspect suggests a B push. I remember playing with Aspect when they had their original roster, and they actually preferred to do a B push a little bit more. And I think that's what we're going to see here as Maestro opens up the window to bedroom. Parrot is downstairs, desperately sprinting to get up and potentially assist the rest of their team. 2 minutes on the clock, and well, it's a spread out offense with Maestro pushing over to A, but I wonder if maybe this is a bait play and the real push is going to happen on B.
What I'm thinking is happening right now, oh, there we go. We see Dusty finding Zen with a frag, but it looks like what's happening right now is they're just sourcing picks. They're playing a default right now, trying to just, whittle down that defense manpower. As we see Faded sprint in, but Peak finds both of them. Solo not having a wall open to be able to cover. It looks like Pillow and Solo are going to try and get some more picks through those walls as Dusty tries to work through A and possibly work a flank.
Could not have gone worse there for Aspect, as the EMP is now stuck right in plain view of everybody on Aspect, and another incendiary toss is going to slow them down even longer. Only a minute on the clock. Typically when you push on Site B, you get control through Death Hallway and have somebody at least controlling the angles over on Globe. But Aspect tried to blitz here, and it did not work out at all. 50 seconds on the clock. They're in a really tough spot. They've got a bit of a firepower advantage, and they've got utility. They've got ways to combat Ling, but the player advantage is currently held by the defenders. And, well, even just that extra person is going to make things a lot more difficult for Aspect. Dusty catches Muffin before being refragged by Parrot. Here comes Peak back through Death Hallway, but Pillow, Solo have control of the EMP. One goes down, and dare I say, this might go to Aspect. Peak finds one. Oh, but Pillow was there for the refrag. And Aspect pick up their second round. Shimmy, I'm not going to lie, I had my doubts, but it worked out far better for Aspect.
No, they were able to recover that round very, very well. When you blow that hatch and you decide to blitz into B, it has to be an all or nothing. And unfortunately, 2 people is just not enough to do it. You have to have 5 guns running in and making sure every single person on that site is dead. That, or you need that wall blown so that Solo could have protected the person's coming in. But doesn't matter. They were able to shore it up. Dusty, Pillow, and Solo were able to find their picks, get ground onto site, and then just slowly whittle away the defense as they tried to do a retake.
Whew. Both teams, they've got the cash that they need now to continue fueling their campaigns. Now, Shimmy, I do want to point out, could history be repeating itself? We saw Aspect find 2 rounds on Arctic, and then Ling managed to turn it around. Are we waiting to see the same thing happen again? Potentially. Over here on map number 2, yeah, if you're just joining us, map 1, 7-2 went in favor of Ling. But so far, they haven't been as successful as they were on that original map. We see Parrot downstairs, Muffin on the roam this time, and I gotta say, Muffin on the roam, Parrot on the roam, everybody on Ling seems to be quite versatile. Uh-oh. Muffin got spotted, though. Oh my! What a read. I've got to clip that.
Nice shot from Maestro. Being able to work off that tiny little bit of info from the drone and just drill perfect wall bangs. Looks like we see a full flank clear coming out of Aspect right now. As they start working their way, it looks like over towards the A stairway, over towards Wine Cellar. No ground quite taken yet. They're taking this really, really slow, making sure that they don't lose that man advantage that they've just gained.
Ooh,
We see
they had a good start. But yeah, as Shimmy pointed out, definitely don't want to lose that advantage. That's why they're being so thorough. But, well, it's concerning me a little bit, Shimmy, because, well, they've spent a lot of time setting up for this push, but not actually pushing. So Ling has taken some time to even down the playing field.
Yeah, they're trying to be too cautious, I think, while working through this Ling held map. I mean, Ling is full of players that don't play a typical meta. They play very, very chaotic and sporadic at times. So it's very hard to read them. And they've just wasted, like, Aspect has wasted way too much time trying to figure out where they are, trying to make sure that they're safe. and we see 33 seconds on the clock. They have to work something quick, but everybody is spread out all over the place on Aspect's side.
They're being very cautious here, but I'm concerned as Parrot will find one pillow looking for the refrag, catches it. Maestro finding Relay as Aspect have established into Site A here. The blitz has worked. It's now just up to Peak, and they're in trouble as 1 versus 3 EMP planted. They've got a rifle in hand, but they've got Dusty, Pillow, and Maestro to deal with.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Peak. I mean, Aspect knew that they had to do a quick blitz and get into sight, and they did just that, coming straight through the window, coming straight through the stairway wall, and getting that control that they needed. Peak probably going to save at this point. It is a 1v3 versus 3 Maruis is not going to happen, as we do see him get in the corner to save with a syringe and a Vezin.
I was going to say, at what point do you just give up here and say, let me grab a rifle, let me grab a heal, and not lose those? And that's exactly what Peak decided to do. Probably the better choice, because Aspect were quite dug in here, and Peak's chances of actually succeeding and then getting the EMP defused on top of that were quite low. But, well, I've eaten my words, Shimmy. Aspect setting a new high score on this map.
Yeah, but did you really want to see it end at like a 7-2?
No,
on the second map?
Yeah.
No, exactly. I want some action. That's why I'm here.
Right.
No, but we do see that eco is not looking great for Ling right now. Of course, Aspect could close this out at that default 4-2, which would mean a pretty even likelihood on win or loss for them. That is the target that most teams keep, is win 4 rounds on your offense and then just sail the defense on Hideout. Let's see if they can get that, or maybe they can do even better.
I'm liking this return to form from Aspect. They've shown us that they've got what it takes to put the pressure on Ling here. Maybe the Connoisseur is starting to worry a little bit as this team builds up more momentum. Currently, their end game is looking like a 5-1 on this first half. That's their best case scenario. Worst case would be the 3-3 tie. But let's hope, if you're an Aspect fan, that such an event does not happen.
We do see all those long angles getting played by these Maruis. We see Maestro up on the long hall window, trying to get somebody. Pillow way out over on patio, trying to fish somebody out of either bedroom or through the wall onto B site, while Zen tries to work a really, really, really deep roam. As to why he's on bottom floor when it's a top floor site, not 100% sure, but maybe he's going to find somebody late in the game. Doesn't look like Aspect has gotten their pick that they need to decide what site that they're going to just yet, as they are about even split manpower on both sides. Just trying to source out that first pick.
Last time we saw B, the site to push. Maestro is now in family room balcony along with, well, Faded's actually outside of it, hanging on the window. You can see, oh my goodness, Dusty was flank watching. I didn't even notice them. And they catch Zen, and the pressure's really on Ling now. We see lots of Shimmy Maruis have been picked up by Aspect to, as Shimmy pointed out, play those long angles. Maestro finding Relay, blankets of fire as Pillow finds Move-In, and a big utility dump that works out in favor of Aspect. Not a single one of their players has died in the exchange.
I gotta give it. I think Aspect has figured out what they need to do with Ling. Ooh, there we go. Dusty picks up Peak right on the bathtub, and Parrot is all alone on that backside of A site, having just that smoke as his only protection. Grabs all that util, grabs that Vezin. Looks like he's going to try and make something work. No, he is just going to sit there and hope that he doesn't get flanked. I mean, right now it is a 1v5, so saving might be your best option. But Aspect having, ooh, and Maestro finds him. Right now, it looks like Aspect has figured out, okay, we can just let them come to us. We will get that first pick, and then we will decide where to go. A lot of these Ling players are pretty dang aggressive, so they don't really have to do much. They can just let the Ling players come to them, kill them as they come out.
Aspect seems to have cracked the code here. Maybe it was Arctic. Maybe it was just the map that they're not familiar with, and once they're put into an environment that they know that they're comfortable in, they can really start to thrive. We'll find out if that's the case, but here we are on round 6. That best case scenario for Aspect still remains a 5-1 first half. Ling are going to desperately try and make it 4-2 to give themselves a little bit of padding. But it is going to be a tall order, as they're going to have to deal with many, many Maruis over on Aspect. Yeah, they're playing the long game, waiting for first pick, and then they're pushing in a lot of times off-meta ways. And so far, Aspect have that formula for success.
Now let's just see if they can close out this last round, as Relay is going to try and hold the garage, hold off any sort of hatch plays. Instants come out, nades come out. Relay not able to find anything just yet. Pulls back, trying to get away from that garage.
I think Relay is trying to get the first pick here, but you really just have to let Aspect... the way for Ling to win this is to let Aspect go to them. Peak picks up a lot of damage through the wall, and they actually are taken out completely by Maestro. Minute 45 on the clock. As we enter a 4 versus 4, utility is tossed in, and pressure is on here for Ling.
This has really turned into a wallbang battle at this point. Everybody's shooting through walls, trying to just get damage onto each other. We do see that nade come out, doesn't quite find anybody. Dusty preps the wall. Maestro ready over in laundry, while Zen tries to sit as close as he can to the entryway in the smoke. Ooh, that is a risky spot on Zen.
Might be able to make it work, but Maestro looking to open up the wall. Movement finds the kill onto Solo. Here comes the pressure. Dusty, beautiful shot placement. Zen pushes out. Maestro will find that kill, and it's now just a 1v1 between Parrot and Maestro, as I believe they used to be former teammates on Restart, but Parrot will find the kill and make it a 2-4 game for Ling. That was not the worst case scenario for Ling, Shimmy. It could have been, they could have had to hope for a 5-1 curse, but well, it's looking a little bit better for them at least.
No, and now we see those aggressors, Ling, on the attack. I'm very, very eager to see this. Can Aspect keep that aggression in check from Ling? I mean, like you were saying, that 1v1 that we saw against Parrot and Maestro, those were two of my homeboys. So,
yeah, I mean,
this match is turned out to be exactly what I wanted.
Exactly, yeah. We've got the prestigious captain of the Elite Restart team with us in our presence today, so glad to have your wonderful insight, Shimmy. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to see what has been a very intense game so far, and I wouldn't say I still stand by what I said, that both of these teams are pretty equivalent in terms of skill level, and we're starting to see Aspect shine on this map, but the question is, as Shimmy has pointed out, can they keep it up on their defense?
We see Faded holding an extremely risky off entry, as well as Dusty, but he does go down to peak. Looks like we've got 2 Ling players coming in on the balcony, trying to get a hold of the family room. Not quite finding it. Faded stuck in a really awkward spot, trying to find anything he can.
And realize Solo in a bit of a gunfight. We do see Faded downstairs, may catch a flank kill here. Zen finding Solo, as I almost think Ling is going to try for that B push. No, we do see Foam out over on site A, while Faded making their way upstairs, but Zen was there. Faded catching a kill. They're trying to escape, but Peak falls on their head and will find that kill. But it is a 2 versus 4, and Pillow alone over inside. Actually, no, not alone inside A, is Maestro in there. Parrot planting the EMP. Maestro finds the kill on to Peak. But now there's only 45 seconds between Ling and being 1 round closer to tying up against Aspect.
Oh man, Aspect has got to make something work right here. They do have the health advantage between the 2 people versus the 3. However, this is just not where you want to be. Once that plant is down, that wall is blown. It is difficult to unseat the attackers in that post plan. As you see, so many crossfires, and they are able to just clean it up. Moofin pulling the triple kill with Parrot included. Unfortunate. But that is a short up win for Ling.
Very, very well executed offense there. You know, I think Aspect just needs to realize that the way they win their defensive half here is just to play like they did on offense. You know, they waited for, Aspect waited for Ling to approach, and then they got the first kill, as Shimmy pointed out, and then they were able to turn that into success. But here we saw Faded and Dusty playing offsite, trying to roam, but I almost feel like that's not where you want to be going here. I think you just got to stick close to the site, play together as a team, and don't let Ling have the opportunity to pick off some of your players.
No, I think they can play those offsite aggressive defense spots. It's just the way that they played those specific ones. Those were risky spots. Right. Specifically where Dusty was upstairs trying to fight off the balcony door. That is a rough gunfight to try and do just out in the open. And that just ultimately gave Ling that first pick that they needed. And then Faded getting found on the flank just did not help at all. But we do see some entries coming in. Front door is open. Dusty trying to catch whoever is going to try and come in. We also see one that dropped down from the skylight onto the staircase. Dusty caught in an interesting spot, but does find Parrot. Escapes with only a little bit of damage.
You see Zen over on big stairs right now, as Dusty actually on the other side of the wall from them. They're over in garage. Zen finding the kill on Solo. Peek outside in a bit of a tough spot here, as Ling have been softened up quite a bit for this push. 1.5 minutes on the clock, as Pillow, Dusty, holding down control of garage. Relay is very, very low on health, and there's the infiltration there. They caught Pillow before getting refragged, but that set Moof and Peek and Zen up for a lot of success here.
Oh, they're in a great position. Looks like they're going to start working over towards that A site, but Dusty doesn't find Moofin and Peek. It is now Zen alone. They weren't quite able to rotate over. It is still possible for Zen. That is a lot of damage done to all 3 players, and he's still got full health, and he has managed to worm his way into A site. Is somebody watching that? Somebody is. Maestro manages to take Zen.
Good positioning from Aspect, especially from Maestro. They were on 1 health, but they read it perfectly. I mean, they knew exactly where Zen would be coming from. If they're not on one angle, they're probably flanking you. So very well played by Aspect. And hey, Shimmy, I mean, they are now 1 round away from match point here on map 2. They could turn this around. We could go to a 3rd map if they can keep this pace up.
I mean, Aspect's looking good now. It looks like they figured out whatever was going wrong. They've reshorted up. Like you said, it probably was honestly just they aren't that comfortable with Arctic. Mm-hmm. And again, this is a map every single person knows. This is, I feel like, where you see the most just no bars held skill in Breachers. And, I mean, Aspect's putting in work.
We'll see. There's a lot riding on these next few rounds, especially as Ling has some rifles in their hands. They've got some util. Don't count them out yet. They put on a very good show on Arctic, and they've certainly shown that they're capable of getting some round wins here. Relay picks up a lot of damage. Good early frag by Faded. It's going to force the use of a stim. Zen makes their way into storage, but nobody decides to spring a trap yet. I'm not going to I'm not going to say I loved that incendiary deployment. I feel like you probably could have gotten more use out of it, but still, Aspect are on a health advantage technically, as Muffin is taking a bit of a bit of damage in this round.
Well, and also Faded hasn't quite sprung his trap yet. He is in that position where he can open up the laundry window and rain a little bit of fire down. But I think he's waiting for that wall to go out first, also to see if anybody's going to try and move around, try and get that garage hatch by opening up laundry. We do see two people enter garage. Faded getting ready, knowing that he has company on his floor.
I hope Zen has spotted the trip mines there and doesn't walk into them as we see the garage hatches opened up. Zen springs up, finds one. Maestro playing corner, but they could get caught out soon by Parrot. Zen finds the kill into Dusty. Maestro looks to spring out solo, tries to catch Peak, but they lose that gunfight instead. And all of a sudden, it's a 5 versus 1 as it's just down to Faded. Oh, and they're across the map, completely away from the site. And well played by Ling, as they're not out of it yet. Shimmy, how could it go so wrong so quickly?
Just excellent execution. That is all excellent execution on Ling's part. They found that they found those first early entries right into storage and then just stormed in through the wall and got it. Unfortunately, my camera wasn't in quite the right spot, so I couldn't get the entire view of the action. But if you can get that foothold, then you can just runaway train your way through sight, get that plant, and sit comfortably in a 5v1, as we see right here. Oh, are they going to find the final pick, though? Faded does get a little bit of revenge onto Parrot for his team. And also gets a Vezin to sit with.
Yeah. Was it a little bit too aggressive from Parrot because you let Faded upgrade to a Vezin and an Incendiary for free? It was still a very successful round for Ling. Even if they lost a player, they only lost one of them. But actually, Shimmy, I mean... Oh, no, Parrot is able to buy another rifle. Okay. I was worried they wouldn't be able to field that 5th rifle.
Yeah, Parrot is one of those players that if he sees there is just an overwhelming advantage and he'll be fine, and that he'll be fine the next round, he'll just go do something dumb because he can. I've known him for so long. He likes to have fun when he plays, and you know it's not very fun if you're on the 5 side of a 5v1.
Right.
Kind of boring.
Yeah, it's the most terrifying experience if you're on the 1 side, but yeah, the 5 side you're typically just anchoring, waiting for the EMP to defuse and for the round to expire. So yeah, they were able to field the Vezin, so definitely not the biggest consequence for Parrot here, but I like to think that every dollar counts, and it could be the difference of not having enough people later on. But in any case, we'll see as Zen has picked up a lot of damage early into this round. We see an Huracan in the hands of Dusty, who's going to play aggressive here. They're going to try and get a cheap pick. They actually threw the Huracan down, I think, to try and avert the drone's attention. Relay makes entry over into laundry as Ling have taken some damage before they push in here.
We do see that garage setup, though, going really, really well for Ling as Zen is able to find Maestro. That one person sitting in laundry, he's getting a little bit of fire, but he is still just fine. Gets the phone pass to him. Dusty sitting in that angle trying to abuse the... Oh, unfortunate. Relay does just have the better reaction time. Not quite able to flex that Huracan's potential. It is 5 versus 3, and it is not looking good for Aspect. Oh, but Muffin takes himself out with a nade. Pillow finds one on Peak, but goes down. Zen finds Solo. It is all down to Faded in this 1v2. Incend off, not opportune, but also no EMP plant yet.
Yeah, there's time here. Minute on the clock. Faded has got their work cut out for them, and I think Zen's going to get the intel here. Yeah. They just saw, they had Peeker's advantage. They saw that character model, and they were able to execute. There it is, Shimmy. It's a tie game. Ling have been putting in the work here, and it has paid off. One more round win from either team is going to put them into that match point range.
Oh man, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. A lead just not going your way. But I mean, that is just Hideout for you. It is an offense-sided map, very widely accepted to be so. It's not surprising to see Ling coming back on that offense side. But still, this has been one heck of a game. Getting to see a good dead even 5-5 makes me pretty dang happy.
Both teams are they seem comfortable here, and especially Ling. They look very, very comfortable. They're still joking around with each other. They've definitely not let the pressure get to them, but Aspect have come so far. They are just 2 rounds away from getting a win and taking us to map 3. It would be heartbreaking if we didn't go there at this point, but you can see the huddle on the roof. Ling are determined to end it in 2 maps and not have us go to a 3rd.
I mean, you see the morale is up on Ling. You see the eco is up on Ling. Struggle hero buys coming out from Aspect. It's not looking great. We do see some buys catering towards that longer range that we see on this top floor. But will they be able to make it work with 2 Vipers and 1 Omen being forced into play here as Solo tries to work that flank? Oh, but Peak finds him, and that is down to a 5v4. Oh, but Muffin friendly fires himself down to no health. That is unfortunate. Wall goes out. Zen working his way over, trying to get that plant. Nade goes out from Peak. Doesn't quite find anybody yet.
It's actually the second round in a row where Muffin has taken themselves out. The first time was a frag, and now it's reverse friendly fire and faded. Finding Zen with the incendiary. Not looking good for Ling, as they are at a player disadvantage. However, they've got some rifles up. We see Dusty is over in bedroom. Relay watching the flank. They're going to try and slow down a little bit here on Ling. Maybe play for some picks. There's still plenty of utility in the hands of Aspect, though. Picking up some damage as Pillow just not letting them get any momentum here. There's the Incendiary. That's at least another 15 seconds where they can't plant the EMP. Dusty looking to pinch. There's a frag toss. Ooh. And Dusty will pick up some damage, but Ling still unfazed as Peak playing a very, very good flank watch along with Relay. Parrot has just been in the site the entire time, waiting to spring the trap on Dusty. Faded, finding the kill on the Peak. As we now enter 2v2, the EMP has been planted. Parrot goes down, and it's just up to Relay. In the 1v2, they swing. But Maestro will find the kill to make it a 6-5 game with Aspect taking match point here on map 2. Shimmy, the only hope for Ling now is that overtime round.
I thought that Ling was going to have that round, but you know what? They were able to just claw back, get that defuse done. Maestro managing to back up his teammate as they push that last person. Woo! That was one little awkward gunfight.
And it's got to be a mix of emotions here if you're Relay, because they almost had it and they were probably confident and then just weren't able to get that second kill. So a lot of pressure riding on this round. If Aspect wins this, we're going to a 3rd map. If Ling wins, well, it's going to be an overtime game. So this is what we signed up to watch. This is why so many people have voted to see this game casted, because both teams really, really want to win, and it has been a very solid and entertaining game, Shimmy.
Oh, it really has. I've enjoyed every minute of this so far. I mean, we've gone back and forth, especially on this map. It's been a roller coaster. Solo keeping the little cart duck, and he goes for this kill, but he does not find it. Instead, Parrot takes him down. Sometimes that play just does not work out in your favor.
2:05 on the clock as Zen tosses in Incendiary's big util dump, as both teams looking to block each other off from accessing the site. Just a little bit longer. Zen tossing, I think that was a breaching foam or an Incendiary to one of their teammates. But here comes the push. Pillow is actually out in storage. Zen pushes in as Parrot finding Maestro and infiltrating deep into the site. Hatch is opened up as Zen finds Parrot. Faded catching Parrot. And there you have it. A blink and you'll miss it shimmy. But we are going to overtime here on map number 2.
I really appreciate how fluid Ling is. I mean, one avenue's not working. They get blocked off by that Ensign. They get blocked off by gunfire. They rotate around, go get the hatch, and just drop right in, blow the wall, and take the site. Man, that was a quick take.
If you've ever been here with us for overtime before, you'll know how this works, but I'm going to explain it if you're new to Breachers and Breachers VRML. Overtime, this is the tiebreaker. No team is going to walk out of this with a tie. You can see up at the top of the scoreboards, both teams have been accumulating a total score throughout the entire map. You can see that Ling's score is 12,000, so they have the higher amount, and they got to pick which side they would start on for this overtime round. They've elected to pick offense and keep Aspect on defense. Solid pick, Shimmy, because it means, I mean, that was their more successful half this entire game. But additionally, both teams have been set on $4,000. Every player had the same amount of money. They can buy the same weapons, any kind of util they want, and it's all going to come down to the true battle of skill. Can Aspect lock in here and win just one defensive round? Or are Ling going to be able to end off this series right here?
I'm gonna be a little selfish and say I really hope that Aspect wins. I want to see map 3. I really want to see map 3, but we do see some early damage coming onto Relay as he stims, trying to get that foothold. The wall is foamed. They are getting ready to breach. We don't see anybody set up on the stairwell just yet. Nades going out as the wall goes off. And we see Ensigns blocking off the defense from being able to push up and peek. Now, nothing quite yet coming out of Enforcers trying to get that, get in sight. Looks like Zen now has the EMP. Is he going to go for the plant? Not yet. Faded ready with that Ensign, though. Looking to make a repeat. Oh,
there's a good incendiary. Zen's gonna get caught in it again. Oh my goodness.
No.
Very, very unfortunate that incendiary got buffed in season 3, and it is brutal to deal with here. Gotta be frustrating for Ling, but it's all about how can you adapt right now. They're not out of it yet. They've had this happen before. They're able to play for some picks. They've just got to play out the utility dump, but Faded catching Mufin, who got a little bit too sloppy with their positioning. Only 50 seconds left on the clock, as there's a 5 versus 3 Maestro pushing up into Shower, and there's not a lot of hope here for Ling. They've got to get that EMP down and planted. There's only a smoke in the hands of Aspect right now, so they're going to have to move that Static in a really rough spot as Pillow will find the kill on a peak. Only 30 seconds left. Parrot pushes in. They catch one. Relay catches one, and it's just down to Relay in the 1 versus 3 with only 20 seconds left on the clock. Here comes Solo and Dusty on the flank. Relay looks to push back out and maybe find some kills, but Faded pushes up, and it is going to be an Aspect win in overtime. And Shimmy Marui, we are going to go to a third map.
God, that was a little bit of a nail biter round. I mean, Aspect was getting that slow whittle down on the life of Ling, but Jesus Christ, I felt like it'd go any second. I thought that Ling was going to be able to get that plant, but they just could not get rid of that static. And every time they tried to get into that room to plant, just something went wrong. Zen eating an Ensign, somebody else getting caught off with that static and just getting domed. Like, just not the round for Ling. But let's see if we can see them settle this on map 3.
Ooh, it has been a back and forth battle. For anybody who's just joining us, map 1 went 2-7 in favor of Ling. That was on Arctic. We just had Hideout, and that went 7-6 in overtime to Aspect. So now we're going to go to our third and final map, which is either going to be Skyscraper, Ship, or Dam. Factory and Mall have both been banned. We played on Arctic. We played on Hideouts. Woo! Shimmy, any predictions here as we get into our third and final map?
I'm going to say Ship. I think this is going to be a Ship.
Ah, okay. Okay. I like that.
I mean, I could be Skyscraper being my second, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Ship.
I mean, I am a little biased towards Ship. It is one of my favorite maps. If you can't tell, I don't know. I might have something, on my head that kind of shows that I'm a fan of Ship, but and it is going to be Ship. Perfect. Shimmy Maria, I'm going to let you call the map more often.
I need to go buy a lottery ticket or something. I am on it.
Perfect predictions here as we're getting ready. I think maybe timeout has been called while we verify what is going on. Quickly wanted to shout out, you might have noticed that you're seeing more than just Breachers on our channel right now. You're seeing Veil, you're seeing some Pavlov pretty soon, you might be seeing some Onward, and that is because we have centralized onto one singular channel, which has now been renamed to the VRML network. We're combining all of our communities into one to create an incredible viewing experience. So if you're interested in how other leagues perform and what other competitive VRML games look like, feel free to check out any one of our incredible casts. But if you are just interested in Breachers, you can always set those notifications to Breacher streams by checking out our playlist. So if you want to see our notifications for a particular type of game, always check out those playlists. But it has been a long time coming. We're very excited. You're going to start seeing a lot more really, really fun content. We just dropped the shout out to Gravy and Martini and Chumbait for the Breakdown podcast, which we launched this week. It was a lot of fun to film. You're going to see more of those for different kinds of games, different casters in there, maybe some league staff from other portions of the league. But yeah, it was a ton of fun to film. And hey, maybe we can get Shimmy Marui in there. That would be the perfect celebrity guest there. And looks like we are going to go ahead and get started with our third and final map. No more stalling. We're heading to Ship, where we're going to settle things. It's not going to be a tie. I love that, Shimmy. We're not going to see a tie here. We're going to see either Aspect or we're going to see Ling.
I always hated ties, so I'm so happy to see overtime finally in the game and in VRML. Jesus, nothing was worse than seeing a 7-1-1-7-6-6. That always just made me mad.
Yeah. It's disheartening to go all the way to the end and then just not see any kind of conclusion. But those days are behind us, Shimmy. We now have overtime, and I couldn't be happier. And I'm very glad that we got to see some so early in the season. I was just thinking about this the other day. I was talking to Nightfire about this. We're only in our first week of season 4. There are 11 more awesome action-packed weeks to come, and then there's a whole postseason on top of it. So it's a great time. If you want to enter into VRML as a brand new team, you still have time to get your team in, get your players in, and then participate in the season and the postseason. So if you are new, don't be afraid to join in, and we welcome you to Breachers VRML. But for now, we are going to go into our final map here. Aspect on the offense, Ling on the defense. 2 minutes on the clock as, again, we're seeing some early utility deployment, and Ling are not letting Aspect establish into the site at all.
We just see all that util, just keeping them out. Sometimes if you get that initial space into workshop, you can really overwhelm a site. And it looks like they have finally gotten in. All they need to do is blow that wall, prevent anybody coming in from Gen, and this would be A3's round. But no picks given out right now. No walls blown yet that are inside the map. Relay does find one. Parrot finds a second. Oh, they are starting to gain some ground.
Not.
They're getting some
ideal.
ground back.
Yeah, they're getting some.
No.
Yeah. Oh, here's Zen on the flank too. They might catch some picks, but they're gonna back out. Relay finding the kill on the pillows. Dusty finds Pete. Zen looking for Faded, and they will find that kill. But look at this. Dusty has rushed into the site. Actually got behind the entire defensive line. But Mufin was there to keep them out, and first round goes to Ling.
Oh man, hate to see it, but Ling just knew how to work those sides. They knew how to work that gen room flank and that stairs flank, and just made Aspect pay for it. But we are up now on middle floor. I'm wondering which site we're gonna see them attack. Ship is another map that got reworked. It plays a lot differently than it did back in season 1 and 2. Personally, I always absolutely loved Ship, so having to learn it all over again really sucked.
Yeah, I would say that we're both
in
the minority of liking the pre-rework Ship. I also enjoyed it a lot, but the rework, to be fair, isn't that bad.
No, it just plays like a completely different map.
Yeah.
It's a lot more defender-sided than it used to be. It's a lot more offensive-sided than it used to be. It used to be considered very, very defensive-sided just because of the amount of different corners that you could sit with, like shotguns. But looks like we got a couple roamers up on third floor, and it looks like Aspect is going to try and also get control of that third floor and clear it.
Yeah, good drone work. Movement's been spotted, and they may actually get flanked here by Malicious Panda and Pillow. They're going to rotate around. Oh, they're going to try back hallway. And instead of going down the stairs, which is probably what Aspect has anticipated. Oh, Movement, don't peek it. Don't peek it. Yeah, you don't want to peek that. Dusty has definitely called out to the rest of the team where Movement is, and Malicious Panda was there to gun them down. Absolute brutality for Ling. Minute and a half on the clock as Aspects on the move with the push.
Very, very good lurk clear. Being able to make sure that you have control of that entire third floor and just lay traps all over the place for when Mufin had to run away. Oh, that is unfortunate. But we do see Panda and Pillow starting to make their way down the staircase and work on getting control of that B site.
Yeah, single file down the stairs. Peek out by Deathbox. Minute on the clock as Peek may... Oh no, Pillow catches Peek instead, putting that Omen to excellent use, and we're down to a 3 versus 5 shimmy as there's 50 seconds left on the clock, but pressure's on here for Ling as Parrot goes down to Pillow. We see Zen on the flank. Maestro pushes in, but it's down to Zen, and they get caught in the fire. Not a single casualty over on Aspect.
Oh, that's Zen's third time dying to an ensign this match.
Oh, you're right. Oh, no.
Oh, you hate to see it, dude. Oh, that's unfortunate, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what else to say to that.
Yeah,
but it looks like we finally got...
Moment of silence for Zen, who has unfortunately lost their life to that incendiary 3 times. It's got to be frustrating. Yeah, we spoke about this in the breakdown podcast, whether or not the incendiary might have been overtuned, and I think the solution is probably just to raise the price of it a little bit more, because it does feel nice to use, but some people argue that it's just a little bit too cheap for the value that it brings to the field. So we'll see if Aspect can keep up this momentum, but it's been a nice showing in that previous rounds. If it's a lot more offensive sided, then the Aspect are really going to have to lock in as many rounds as they can.
Well, with it being this top floor site, it's going to be an awkward one. There isn't a lot of easy flanks that you can do here. A lot of easy lurks. It usually just turns into flat gunfights the moment you open the walls up. So it looks like we see them taking both sides of bridge. First wall gets foamed by Maestro. Some wall bangs coming out. Nothing found yet. Mufin missing Maestro by a hair through the wall. Looks like we have Peak working through the smoke. Not quite committing. He does go for it, but doesn't find anybody. Only a little bit of damage taken so far.
Minute 50 on the clock. Drone moving over into site A, as I think it actually missed Zen. And that could be big. Oh, it's definitely spotted. Yeah, now it's spotted Zen. It needed to go down earlier than that. So Zen's trap will not work any longer. Foam on both walls. We're going to see that two-prong here. The minute and a half on the clock. As Peak going to look to hold down the left half of the room. Parrot on the right, and they're caught in another incendiary as Zen catches two and look for the third. But there's Peak supporting their teammate. Pillow goes down, and Peak finding a double kill. Very solid Ling defense. They played that well. I don't have any critical comments for Ling there.
I mean, you saw some really, really good ego peaks off of that. It wasn't a lot of crazy positioning, as it was just pure mechanical flex on that. Move and flicking the crap out of a couple people. I think Peak picked up a 2K with his oral. Just excellent display of gun skill from Ling right there.
Lots of utility coming out from both sides. We're really in this as you get closer towards the top of the breacher's skill, the skill ceiling. You start to see more use of that utility and more utility dumps, where both teams just kind of throw all of their utility in a single spot, and then once that expires, it's kind of anybody's game. So it's all about being conservative with your utility, so as to have some leverage once you set up a push.
All right, well, we do see that entry over by Barracks, as not really anybody's entered site just yet. Are they going to go for the third floor clear again? It looks like they are. Yes, they are going to. But they are quite spread out right now, just trying to figure out exactly what they're going. It's obviously going to be a B lean again. Just exactly how are they going to approach this? Parrot working that flank from the bottom. Is he going to have the chance to catch anybody in that stairwell?
Faded enters into bunks along with Maestro's malicious panda. Ooh. Will find Parrot. Early roam clear from Aspect. This Maestro, I think, actually walked through a trip mine there and picks up quite a hefty amount of damage. Now just a minute and a half on the clock. Ling down a player, but still playing pretty defensively on site B. They're not looking to get too over aggressive here. Mufin, I think, will try that flank. We see Dusty and Pillow on the hatch, and I'm just waiting for the collapse here. Here it comes. Dusty goes down. Faded catching the kill on Zen. Pillow goes down as Maestro infiltrates, finds the kill on the Peak. Mufin gets pushed. They will shut down Maestro, but they're in a 1v2 as that EMP is getting planted. Faded looking to stick it in kitchen. And it's now that 1v2. Faded catching Mufin. And Aspect, Shimmy, we are seeing history repeat itself once again. We're tied 2-2 in the first half of a game.
Oh, man, this has just continued to be back and forth ever since Arctic. God, I am enjoying this. I mean, it is... Roams are not working out right now for Ling. Aspect knows to check for them. They're watching every single floor that the site is not on, just making sure that they don't lose to their backs again. I mean, Aspect's just playing a really, really good offense at this moment. But again, we're trading round for round, so I can't make a prediction as to where this is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been so back and forth the entire time that it's yeah, I'm with you. I can't say comfortably who is going to walk away as the winner. But maybe since we're on a revamped map, and Arctic also got revamped, and we had this 2-2, and this is when Ling started to pull ahead and go 7-2. So maybe this is a sign that we're going to see a return of that. It's like a little Gibular Bob conspiracy theory there.
All right, take your tinfoil hat off, Bob.
I'm getting like Nightfire with my Breachers conspiracy theories, but here we go. 2 minutes 10 on the clock. Round 5, as we're looking at a very dug-in Ling defense. They're not putting anybody on the roam this time, Shimmy.
No, looks like they're centralizing back on the site. They know that roam is just not going to work out for them anymore. We do see a heavy lean towards B, as early shots did first start there, and early entries did go for that. But it looks like, ooh, Dusty does find Muffin as they've rotated over to A. Seeing that they can't quite get a foothold onto B, they've rotated around. Pillow finds Peak. Wallbangs going out. Nothing quite yet. Maestro watching that flank. Zen does find Pillow, though.
So they centralized just like we did onto the VRML network channel. 2 versus 4. Minute 20 on the clock as Maestro catching Parrot with the S-tier frag. It's up to Relay in a 1v4. They catch 1, look for 2, find 2. But Malicious Panda was there to defend their teammates and make it a 3-2 game. We are not seeing history repeat itself, Shimmy. My conspiracy theory wasn't correct. But I think, whatever conspiracy theory, you seem to be like the oracle here who knows what's going to happen. So whatever you say seems to come true.
Praise me. No, I mean, that was just a really, really nice rotate. They saw that they weren't going to get anywhere onto B, just too many wallbangs coming out, and they just blitzed it right over to A. Just swamped the absolute crap out of Ling. Such a good site switch. Like, I'm digging that Aspect has got their heads on right now, and they are just bringing the hurt.
Yeah, you love to see it. It's been redemption since that early 7-2 loss. And to that effect, you can tell that their mental is still there on both teams. They're feeling confident. Both teams know that they're capable of winning, but now it's a matter of locking in. Ling's best case scenario is to go 3-3 and tie it up as we get into the second half. But Aspect are going to look to make it that 4-2 game, so they have less work to do on defense. We'll see if Hideout repeats itself, but right now Zen may try and push Maestro and Pillow here on the flank. It'll be quite an exchange, as will they be droned out? Oh, I think they were. Yeah, they were. Zen has been spotted as Pillow and Maestro are going to look to support the rest of their team. You remember, the last time we were on this top floor, it did go into the hands of Ling.
Yeah, but I don't know. It looks like they're kind of just finding their footing now. Aspect is. So I wouldn't count them out just yet. Sure, Ling was able to get it. They were able to hold off the attack, but I think that Aspect is going to have a much stronger attack. They know how Ling is going to hold this. We have first wall foamed. Pillow looking to get in, but Peak takes Dusty down. Malicious Panda takes Peak.
With a push in here, Relay gets a little bit too aggressive and was not covered by their teammate. And now Faded catching 2, Maestro finding Zen, and Pillow will take out Muffin. In the words of one of our best analysts, Martini, that was clinical, Shimmy.
That was pretty dang clinical. So their first time going around, they blew both walls at the same time and kind of just tried to force it, and Ling was just able to hold that off. This time they blew one side of the wall, got a little bit of attention over there, blew the second wall over by the charts table, and managed to just take a bunch of people out on that side and flood that side. So they just played it a lot smarter than trying to force like they did the first time.
You can see the team huddle. Aspect know that they are just 3 rounds away. And, well, a pistol round win would feel pretty nice for them. It would put them a shoe in to get that match point. So, Ling are desperately clawing their way back. They started off with a great round against Aspect on Arctic. They watch it fall away from them. Dusty tries to catch Peak. And look at an aggressive Bunk's defense. Maestro goes down, but Dusty catching 2. Looking to make it 3. What an incredible opening. And Zen is going to push that kill. But they're caught by Faded. And it is now a 2 versus 3. Shimmy, that wasn't even 20 seconds in the round.
Oh. The irony of this is that Parrot used to hold that exact spot.
No way.
He did back on Restart in the early parts of the late parts of season 2. That used to be his spot that he would sit in, and Dusty just managed to use that and annihilate Ling. Oh, what happened?
Your own tricks used against you. That's gotta hurt a little bit. Minute and a half on the clock. Absolute devastation for Ling on this pistol half. We see Aspect. They just need 3 rounds to turn this into a win over Ling and pull off what would be a very big upset. Remember, it was 60 to 20 votes in favor of Ling. The connoisseurs are sweating. I love to see people get their connoisseurs ruined. It's just the evil part of me. I like to see people be wrong and the underdogs win. But less than a minute on the clock, and we'll see if Ling can keep themselves in this game. Please, Parrot, do not blow yourself up with the foam. I think they're a decent distance away, so that's not going to happen. You definitely don't want to make a mistake like that right now.
I mean, this is not a good situation to be in if you're Ling. One of your guys has 1 health, the other one has a Cyclone. Oh my, how did Parrot not die? How did Parrot not die to that?
Oh my goodness, even just their foot in the fire for a second would be enough to take them out
just
here.
For him.
Yeah, and here comes Mufin over by Deathbox. There's only 10 seconds left on the clock, though. Mufin's going to look to peek the breach. They're trying to get that EMP in implanted. They swing up. Parrot almost finds one, but Pillow and Faded hold down the fort. And they are now just 2 rounds away from pulling out a win against Ling here, Shimmy.
Oh, man. I mean, that was a rough position to be in if you were Ling. There is not a lot you can do with one person with a Cyclone at full health and the other one with your Spectral at nothing. I mean, Aspect is just looking really good right now. I mean, their players are locked in. They're holding good positions. Dusty is right now just rocking this server. Like, he is doing fantastic right now. Dusty and Faded.
Yeah, they've been the cornerstones of Ling pretty much the entire game. I know we got Dusty subbing in on map 2, and you could tell, I mean, they were turning this around for their team. It's been great to watch both sides here. I don't want to see Ling fade out like this. They've got to get some rounds here. If they can survive this round, they may be able to field some rifles, but they are just having problems with this aggression from the Aspect defense.
Yeah, the way that Aspect has been able to hold off, especially just that last round with the barracks hold, was beautiful, beautiful. But is Ling going to be able to get in? They have been detected by that motion detector. Wallbangs come out, nothing finding anybody just yet. I take that back. One just finding Zen. But they are just sitting there trying to hope for somebody to peek the door and slowly work their way in.
Just a minute 50 on the clock as Ling have pushed their way into fire. They are going to try and push onto Site B here, but just in a tough spot. Zen and Realize swapping guns, minute and a half now. Can they apply enough pressure on this Aspect defense that is kitted out with rifles? I can't believe I didn't notice, but they've got 4 RLs in their pockets right now, Shimmy. There goes the wall, opened up into sight B. Pillow's going to look to get a little bit aggressive here. They may find Zen. They do find Zen.
Oh.
It's now just down to Rely and Peak over in Fire. Parrot in Red Engine along with Mufin. And a minute now on the clock. Parrot looking to open up the wall there. Faded finds the kill on the Peak as Aspect find their second kill of the round. Less than a minute on the clock. And Ling are just... Okay, well, there's a start. Rely finds Pillow. Looks to make a second. On to Faded.
This is still just a tough position. Parrot going through the vent and finding somebody. That is wild. Parrot finds a second, but Maestro does find him. It is down to Mufin in a 1v2.
And Mufin almost finding Dusty, but they pick up a lot of damage in the process. They're just so paranoid about that vent. And the EMP is in probably the worst spot ever for Mufin to get this. Is there anything down in that pit? They drop something trying to bait out the audio, maybe make one of those Aspect players drop, but Dusty finds the kill. It's match point for Aspect, and I gotta say it was looking very, very unfortunate there, Shimmy, because Mufin even only had 21 bullets left in that Omen.
21 bullets, and when I looked over, 12 seconds on his wristwatch was when I saw that. And then on top of that, the EMP stuck in an absolutely awful spot. Just perfect view for both Aspect players to watch. Out in the open, there was nothing he could have done. He either would have had to pull off a pretty dang crazy clutch with 20 bullets inside of an Omen, or, well, die.
Oh, Shimmy, it's all coming down to this. Aspect 1 round away from pulling off the upset against Ling, and how poetic would it be to do that in the same exact fashion that Ling used against them on Arctic? You know, the 7-2. I mean, if you're Ling here, they're desperately trying to stay in this. They have the ability. We know they do. They played such a good series opener, but maybe that overtime was the signal. The shift in momentum as Aspect have really clawed their way back from the brink of defeat. We'll see. Can they pull it off?
We do see some ground getting taken by Ling as they work their way in, but that aggressive bridge hold from Aspect just shuts down Rely. Incense all over the place, but not finding any damage as everybody in Aspect is still sitting 100% health with good rifles.
And the rotation to site B has a minute 50 on the clock. Maestro will pick up a bit of damage from that incendiary. One toss in response by Aspect as Zen will catch Dusty. That's one of their big players out of the round early. Minute and a half. Can the rest of this Aspect team pull it off?
Oh man, what are they going to be able to do? So much damage has been done to Ling, and they are just stuck. They are just absolutely stuck in these hallways. Like, Aspect's defense is just looking so good.
They are so dug in. They're locked in. They're not relenting any territory to... I don't know what Fate is up to over there with the Jesper, but less than a minute on the clock now. Zen does get a little bit of a heal off, but it is now hammer time for Ling. They push in. Pillow finding the kill on to Zen. There's only 45 seconds left on the clock. Parrot out in the breach. Malicious Panda will find the kill on the move, and Pillow fights one, and Maestro closes it out in the same way that Ling beat them 7-2 on Arctic. Aspect turn it around to make it a 7-2 win on ship. You can see the confidence here. They are feeling it right now, Shimmy. An incredible performance by this Aspect team as they pull off an insane turnaround. It's What a game.
That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. That was a extremely well played ship by Aspect. Defense solid, offense on point. Just able to continually shut down Ling. Those first couple rounds, they must have just been feeling it out. Once they had Ling's number, it was over. Man, that was what I want to say a 5-point runaway.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I mean, whew. Just to turn it around like that was incredible. You gotta love how Aspect stayed in. Losing 7-2 can be pretty demoralizing, right? When you're going into that next round, and it took them a while to find their footing, even on Hideout. But that overtime win showed that they absolutely knew they had the ability, they had the confidence, they take it to ship, they turn it around, and they make it 7-2 against Ling. I mean, this is what VRML is all about. Look at that. What an incredible, incredible series here today. And big thank you to Shimmy Marui for joining me for this. The birthday boy. It's going to be your birthday soon, Shimmy. Happy
Would you stop it?
Birthday.
Would you stop
we do
it?
Hope that
I mentioned that offhand, and you are just going too hard on it.
Yeah. I you know, at some point, maybe if you're on cast in 2 days, we should sing you happy birthday. You know, we get a third caster in here, and we just sing you happy birthday live on cast. It might be kind of nice. But in any case, we do thank Shimmy for joining us here, and congratulations to Aspect for their win over Ling and a very solid try to Ling. Make sure if you enjoy the streams that you like and subscribe to the VRML Network channel. It's been a tremendous start to our seasons, and keep an eye out for our newest content. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Triangle Factory and also HyperX, for helping us out over here. But that is going to do it for us over here at the Breachers VRML. I'm Gibular Bob, my co-caster, the one, the only, the shimmiest of Marui's captain of the legendary esports clan. We'll catch you all in the next episode. Have a fantastic rest of your night, everybody.
VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager, Triangle Factory. Thanks for watching VRML.